Hey everyone, welcome or welcome back to How to Train Your Cabin. Today I'm going to be talking about some romance books that I've seen online that I would really like to read. And firstly, a huge shout out to Steph for sending me this incredible mug. I absolutely love it. Steph from Steph Loves, do check her out. At first I was like, Steph, did you talk to all of my past lovers and get them to send you photos of their penises? But no, it just turned out to be a coincidence. But yes, thank you so much, Steph. Anyway, romance. Now, romance is a genre that I don't typically gravitate towards. However, I've been really trying my hardest to branch out a bit more into genres I'm not the most comfortable with. So I do love romance. Like, this isn't me saying romance is bad. I do love romance. Romance is fantasy to me. Love, I don't know what love is, and I love finding out about it in books. I just haven't read enough romance for me to really fall in love with the genre yet. However, I'm so open-minded that I really do believe that 2022 is the year I will discover more romances, more 5-star romances. I've already got a few lined up to read in February, so do subscribe if you haven't already if you want to check that out, because I am so excited to build up my romance arsenal. This is going to be a list of kind of wholesome romance and some steamy, naughty romances. So yeah, it's going to be a bit of a weird mix in this video. I'm not gonna lie, I struggled to find male-male romances that weren't written by women. I mean, there were a few, but like the most popular ones were, and I have included some in this list because some of them I do think will be awesome and I love the look of. But if anybody has any male-male romance recommendations for me, then do leave them in the comments below. I would love to check them out. So let's get into the books then. So firstly is the Ex Hex by Erin Sterling, and I know this is my first pick. You're gonna be like, oh, for God's sake, read this one, didn't like it, right? That's what you're thinking. I have heard really mixed things about this one. Not everybody who has read it has enjoyed it. However, I think that's going to work in my favour. People have already sampled it before me. I am going into this with the lowest of expectations. I mean, I was hyped before, and then the reviews started coming in and I was like, because some of my most trusted friends, some of my most respected booktubers that I watch haven't given this the best rating. But that's kind of just made me think, okay, lower your expectations, go into this and you might enjoy. So I do love the premise of it. It's like practical magic meets Gilmore Girls. We follow Vivian, who 9 years ago put an X on her hex. That's not right. We meet Vivian, who put a hex on her ex. I think this X starts, I think this hex starts to mess with the town, so Vivian ends up realizing that she's made a mistake. I know there are some steamy, sexy times in this as well. I don't know if it's with her ex or if she has a new romantic relationship, a new partner, anything like that. I don't know. I just know that there is steam in this. And I love anything magical, so to blend magic with romance is, I mean, I know there's a whole genre of this with like fantasy romance, and I know that's a thing. But like, I don't know, I just love witches. I love the idea of practical magic meets Gilmore Girls. I love both of those things. So yeah, this is the first one I'm saying. And yeah, don't judge me too much for it because I do think I might enjoy it still. Next is the Wicked Villain series by Katee Robert. I only own one of them, Learn My Lesson, which I will be reading in February, aka this month, although it's January, so like next month, but I don't know when you want. I have heard very good steamy things about this series. This is Dirty Disney, essentially. Learn My Lesson is Hercules, Hades, Megara kind of inspired. There are other ones. I know there's like a Beauty and the Beast one. It's for grown-ups. It's for grown-ups. Yeah, they are sexy fairy tale retellings where the villains are front and center. And you know what? Sometimes I do have a crush on the Disney villains. Jafar? Daddy. And then I have Incense and Sensibility by Sonali Dev. I know this is the third book in a series of Jane Austen retellings, but with an Indian-American twist by the author, and I love the idea of that so much. I was looking at all of the books that have been released so far, so yeah, this is the third one. I believe you can read them out of order, and this is the one that I was drawn to the most. This one follows Yash, who is California's first serious Indian gubernatorial candidate. There is a hate-fueled incident that happens at a rally which really affects Yash, and Yash's family doesn't want their condition to be kind of like leaked to the media, so they turn to one of their best friends and confidants, India Dashwood, who is a stress management coach. I think there's a little bit of history between Yash and India, so this is gonna be something else, you know. I do believe this is gonna be amazing. I do think a lot of people have said this is their favorite one in the series so far, so if I really enjoy this one, I will read the other two, of course. But yeah, I just love the sound of it, and yeah, Jane Austen Indian American retelling, I love that. The next one is The Queer Principles of Kit Webb by Sebastian. This one is historical, and I have been feeling more historical fiction these days. This one is, I think, Georgian England. So we follow Kit, who I think runs a coffee shop now, and they have been out of action for a while. They took a bullet to the leg years before, and they kind of missed the excitement of adventure and things like that. And then an aristocrat walks through the door one day, and I believe there is a romance between them. It's hard to talk about plot with these books when I haven't read them yet, but that's essentially what I know bare bones and what drew me towards wanting to read this book. So I do hope, upon hope, that I love it. It was a coffee shop part that really drew me in to begin with. Let's just say that and move on. Then I have 7 Days in June by T.R. Williams. So we follow Eva, who is a single mum and she writes erotic novels. And then we also have Shane, who is a literary writer who has won awards and things. And they end up, well, kind of coming across one another at a literary event in New York. Sparks fly, but what a lot of people don't know is that Shane and Eva actually met when they were teenagers. They actually had a bit of a romance, and now they can't quite deny the chemistry between them. Judging from the title, I believe they talk and reconnect in these 7 days, and what happens in these 7 days, I do not know, but I'm excited to find out. I've heard great things about this one as well, so I'm really hyped for that one. Then I have The Girl with Stars in Her Eyes by Zio Axelrod, and this one really drew me in because of the way that it's written. A lot of people said it's very lyrical, and for good reason. It's to do with the plot. So we follow Tony, and playing guitar is her passion. It's what she grew up doing. She absolutely loves it. And while she was younger, she meets Sebastian, who kind of is a little bit of a mentor to her. But when Sebastian turned 18, he ended up and leaving Tony behind. So when Tony is older, she is making a name for herself in Philadelphia's indie rock scene, and a friend suggests that she tries out for a band, and one of the people who decides who comes into this band is Sebastian. I kind of like when we have characters who knew each other prior, because sometimes I have a bit of a hard time believing like love at first sight kind of thing. I like characters with history, and I find myself more drawn towards those kinds of stories. So it sounds like this is another one where there is some history between the characters and some unresolved tension, and that makes me so excited. So yeah, I've heard that this is very beautifully written and it goes hand in hand with its plot. So yeah, I'm super excited for this one. I think it's going to be one of my favourite books of the year. Something Fabulous by Alexis Hall is, I think, the start of a series. In just judging from the cover, it looks very Victorian. It might be the wrong time period, I don't know. So we follow Valentine, who is a duke, and he is expected to marry a girl called Arabella, I believe. And Arabella ends up running off. You know, she's like very romantic. She's read a lot of romance novels, and she has ideas about what marriage should be, and you know, a marriage of convenience is not suitable for her. So yeah, she runs off, and Valentine, along with Arabella's twin brother, go on this little journey to find her. But I think the Valentine and the twin brother start to fall for one another. Just judging from what the synopsis says, it's Arabella's twin brother. So yeah, this is male. And you know what? It's the setting that draws me in the most. I love the idea of it being sort of Victorian, and also the kind of feeling that's a little bit forbidden. I'm interested to see how this one unfolds and how they fall for one another, and you know, all of that good stuff. So yeah, that's another one I'm excited for. Then we have The Jock by Tal Bauer. And when I went on Goodreads, I saw that Monty from It's Monty Price mentioned this book and gave it a really good rating, and I do trust Monty's ratings. Like, he's not easily pleased. And they actually said in their review as well that there is a trope that I honestly hate, but fortunately this trope is very minimal. I don't really want to say the trope just in case it spoils it for some people, but yeah, it's one of my least favorite tropes ever. But they did mention in their review that it happens, so I'm glad I know that going into it. So in this one, it is a romance between Wes and Justin. Wes is a football player. Justin hates football. Honestly, I just like the sound of it. It's like one of my fantasies as well. I want to end up reading this just thinking, you fucking bastards. But it also sounds like so sweet and wholesome as well, but I do hope there's some steamy stuff in there too. But yeah, I think Wes has to deal with his love for Justin while football is also playing such a huge role in his life and the expectations people have of him. I'm interested to see how that one unfolds. Glad I know about the trope that I hate. If you want to know what that is, I will link Monty's review down in the description box and channel, and you can find out that way. I don't know if it is a spoiler. I don't know what romance spoilers constitute as. Is saying a certain trope is a spoiler? I don't know. I might have already spoiled so many romance books already. I don't know. I'm still new to the genre, okay? I also really like the look of the Prime Mating Agency series by Regine Abel. I've been reading some weird kind of monster romances recently, and I've enjoyed them. So this one actually looks really good, and so many people have said that the plot of these ones are really good too. I mean, I know sometimes I don't really read romance for the plot, I just want the romance or the sex and stuff like that, but if it can really go hand in hand with each other, especially since this is such an interesting concept, I believe it is essentially what it says. It's a mating agency, essentially, where somebody, I think a human, gets paired with a monster kind of thing. And one of the books is I Married a Lizard Man, which is one that I'm reading in February. I'm reading it this month, and I'm really intrigued and excited by it. I'm keeping my mind so open. Yeah, I just like things that are a little bit different, and that sounds really different, okay? I'm also really excited for the Souls trilogy by Harley Laroux. So far there has been Her Soul to Take and Her Soul for Revenge. They both sound really, really good. I've heard good things. Jess actually recommended this one. I lost a game of Pleotavia alright, and they had to pick some recommendations, some romance recommendations for me to read, and this one came up and it does look really good. I do want to try and read it at a time where I have more time for them, because they are quite long. This is like paranormal romance. I don't think I've read paranormal romance yet. But I love the fact that there is just such a plethora of subgenres within the romance genre as well. There's just a little bit of everything for everyone. Okay, I'm going to butcher this summary, right? Because the summary for it doesn't really say the plot. It's like 2 different character POV parts of the summary. But there is Leon, who has a reputation with magicians, and they kill people, I think. And he is supposed to kill Ray. And he doesn't want to, I think, because he's fallen in love with her. This cult wants her dead, but Leon does not want to kill her. All of the books are standalone, so you can read them out of order, I guess. But I do want to start off with this one, Her Soul to Take. It just sounds so good. Like, I really like the idea of the plot. There are a lot of content warnings as well, so I'm glad to know about that before going into it too. Interesting stuff. I have a couple of recommendations from Mina, Reads. I absolutely loved their top steamiest romances video of 2021. I will link that in the description box. But one of the ones that was on that video was Party Favours by Erin McLellan. I keep saying that wrong. It's like Erin McLellan. So this one follows Amanda and Ren, and they are, you know, online friends. And Ren ends up inviting Amanda to a resort along with some of Ren's friends. And sparks fly between them. They get quite steamy, and apparently it's also wholesome as well. And yeah, all of the good stuff. So I'm really excited for that. I really need to read more sapphic romances, but there are a couple that I'm really interested in, and this is definitely one of them, especially if it gets steamy. But also Mina said friends to lovers, and I do like friends to lovers, so I'm intrigued. I am intrigued. Mina also recommended, and I've actually had a few people recommend this in the comments of one of my videos as well, is A Lady of Rooksgrave Manor by Kathryn Moon, the first book in the Tempting Monsters series. This one is paranormal, historical, monster dick, tick tick tick. We follow Esther, who goes to Rooksgrave Manor, which is a kind of brothel-like place, and there they service monster men. But the plot does sound pretty good. I do want the sex, but the plot does sound pretty good. Yeah, I mean, Mina recommended it again, like what could go wrong? A couple of books recommended from Chan like Ainsley is It Happened One Summer by Sensibility, which I actually do own. Yeah, I do own it. I knew it. It Happened One Summer. I literally just bought this like last week. How did I forget? This was in Chandler's top 6 books of 2021 video. Again, link down below. So this one follows Piper, and she is a little wild. She keeps getting in trouble, so she gets cut off by her stepfather, and her sister gets sent to live in Washington, I think, to learn some responsibility. She ends up meeting a bearded sea captain. Oh, honestly, just looking at him on the cover makes me very moist. Sparks fly. It sounds hot, and I know how much Chandler talks about this one. I could literally read it right now, but like a sea captain, oh, literally rock my fucking boat. There is another one by Tessa called Window Shopping, which I'm also looking forward to, but I think that's kind of Christmassy, so I didn't want to mention that. Chandler also mentioned the Necessary Evil series, more specifically Unhinged, which is the first one in that series, in her tier ranking video, which I will also link down below. This one is Male Romance, so I was like, yes. This one follows Adam, who has a double life. He is a younger son of a billionaire and also a killer. Then we also have Noah, who has been dreaming of getting vengeance for his father's death for years. And did Adam kill Noah's dad? Is that what's happened? Because as I'm reading the summary, I'm like, oh, okay. But Noah finds out that his father was a monster, and Adam helps Noah find out the secrets of his father's past and like his childhood and stuff like that. And they also feel a connection. However, Adam can't really love, and Noah knows this. However, I guess it doesn't stop the passion between them. So it sounds interesting. Honestly, my interest in this is sky high, because I'm like, how is this going to work? How is this going to unravel? And you know, this series, this Necessary Evil series, has been very well received. Yeah, I mean, I'm down. I'm down for it, but my cock is up for it. And finally, Mika from Mika August has this steamy romance recommendations video as well, which again, I will link down below. And one of them that was on there was Wrong by Jana Aston. So this one follows Sophie, who works in a coffee shop, and she has this huge crush on a guy who comes in. And it turns out that this crush that she has, he turns out to be her gynecologist, and she is trying to have a baby. She's trying to start a family and stuff, but like sparks fly between them, which is something I've been seeing a lot in this video. A romance ensues between them. But also I just find it hilarious that, you know, she absolutely loves this guy. You know, she's really smitten by him. And then it turns out that he is her gynecologist. So I just find that just hilarious. And Mika as well in the video said that this is like a very funny book as well. And yeah, I'm down for the comedy, I'm down for the romance, I'm down for everything. Tick, tick, tick. I love the sound of it. So yeah, that was probably not all of the romances that really do scratch my snatch, but like those were some of them that really stand out to me, some of them that I would like to try and prioritize this year, and hopefully, you know, start this love affair with romance for me. There's just so many subgenres, so many things that I could explore that I'm still like finding my footing with in 2022. So I'm down, I'm excited for some 5-star romances and just become more well read, you know. But please, again, let me know in the comments below if you have any standout romances that you absolutely adore and love. Again, the steamier the better. Let me know everything in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoy as well, and subscribe if you haven't already. I do have some exciting romance reading vlogs coming very, very soon. I do want to give a huge thank you to my patrons again for being so supportive and amazing. You guys are the best. I couldn't be doing this without you guys, so just thank you so much. And thank you to you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed, and hopefully I will see you in the next video. Bye.